Okay, Mario, once again, and what a gorgeous looking part. Look at this part right here. I don't know, something about freshly painted parts. I guess, any freshly painted part can come out pretty nice looking. So this is my setup here for my rear axle. I'm going to be switching this um, instead of this right here because this is just just an axle with a bolt and the wheel free spinning. So these are going to have the um, those motors, the hoverboard motor axle is going to be retained here with the what's that cover with this plate right here. It's going to go right there. These are tapped for to accept these metric size screws. I believe these are 10 millimeter metric. These are screws that came with my couple motors that I got as a deal with a bunch of hoverboard units from a gent that lives not too far from me here. So that fits perfect right there. Look at that. That's going to hold my motor um, wheel on each side. This is welded. I didn't want to weld this. As you can see, this has 4-spot welding here. I don't think it's going anywhere. But if it does, I'll just I'll just redo this and put a straight bar here. I just didn't want to waste these 12-inch sections here, and that's the reason why I coupled them with this electrical connector, and then I welded these parts at 4 points right there, and also at these points. These are solid here. This I welded all the way around. So that socket right there to this L bracket right there is solid. Very solid, but this should not be a problem either because they're 4-spot welding here. And just given my experience with welded fences and parts like that, a spot like that, four places does spread the load quite nicely. You don't have to weld all the way around the part. So I am um, I'm about to install this section right here. I'm going to take this out, just put it right here. It's real easy, just unclamp this and clamp it back on because everything is done with these maker pipe connectors that you see here. Um, my seat, I have a few options for my seat. This is a wheelchair that I picked up. Somebody threw this wheelchair in one of the dumpsters, one of these industrial dumpsters, and as I was driving by Home Depot one time, one of the stores around there in a mall, and somebody dumped this chair. Uh, it was a lot nicer. It was a lot nicer when I picked it up because this has been sitting in another shed that I have for a few years. So I decided to bring it out just so that I can start pulling things apart and trying to figure out another project. As you can see, I go from project to project here. If you watch my videos, you'll see how I am. I'm transitioning from one to the other, and it's happening rather quickly. So every day I work a little bit on one, and then I start another one, and I start another project, another series of videos. So this will probably be another project that I'm going to be. I want to do something with these wheels here. I actually was going to do another lanyard, but given that I'm nowhere near a desert area where I could run a lanyard, not far from where I live. Um, I decided, go-karts is a much better proposition. I did do a lanyard, I don't know, about 10 years ago, and the only thing with that is that you got to go to, where they run these lanyards, which is in Nevada, dry desert uh, areas. You have a lot of space and a lot of wind, when it's a proper season, to run these things. And so, but it's just a lot of work having to drag these things there, and you can only do that once in a while, and not a go-kart. I can ride this anytime in my backyard or near. parking lots here. So it's a much better proposition, and the go-karts. And that's the reason why I got into building the go-karts, amongst other reasons. But anyway, so this will be another project. And as you can see here, there's a lot of, since I'm already talking about this, I may as well point out some of the features of this wheelchair that can be repurposed for a lot of things. I mean, look at these wheels. This is all nice aluminum caster wheels here, and they've gotten a little dirty and over the years. It's been sitting in my other shed. It's gotten rust. This wasn't rusted. With the moisture here, also some of these parts are going to pick up that moisture and they're going to get rusted. But the frame is pretty much brand new. The wheels are brand new. I don't know why they threw this away. Maybe somebody didn't need it anymore, or this got dirty. But this all this needs is a good wash. This is, by the way, Dacron, heavy-duty Dacron material that is used for items such as this. You can do seats, you can do backrests, you can do Dacron is also used for sailboats, in the sails, but it's also used in aircraft. This is stuff that aircraft wings are made from, because it's much thicker than ripstop nylon. You can also use ripstop nylon, but Dacron is much thicker, much safer, for a full-scale airplane. And so this is Dacron. This good stuff. Just needs to be washed. The backrest is padded, so I may take this out and pop it right there. Repurpose it. Same with the seat, but I also have these aluminum pieces here. I think one was a backrest and the other one was a seat. So this is 1/16 aluminum. This is I think this is 2.5 millimeters or 3 millimeters. It's a little bit thicker, this plate right here. So I can also repurpose these and use these as my seat for my go-kart here. So I already took out some of the attachments that were on this thing. I unbolted those things, and now I just have the aluminum piece. Just needs a good wash and scrubbing, and it'll be almost brand new. So I can use that. I also have another frame there that I get from another wheelchair that my neighbor gave me a long time ago. Good materials there. It's solid plate there. Those plates on the back are about 1/4 inch thick. This is steel tube, solid steel tube. It's not conduit, so it's solid, but it's heavy as hell, So, I plan on using some of those things in some other projects as well, but something that's not going to be perhaps as elaborate as a go-kart, something a little bit simpler. But getting back to this wheelchair, this would make a great another go-kart, an interesting go-kart, or maybe a tricycle, like an adult-size tricycle, or a three-wheel bicycle, or so I plan on motorizing this as well. Those wheels are still good. So anyway, I just wanted to point out those things. What was I going to say? Yeah, getting back to this this setup here. I'm going to be doing the wheels, and then I'm going to be see if I can finish all these other sections here of the seat. I have to put a bar right here just for support. And this I sat on this the other day with a board on top of it here, and because this is 48 inches from that axle to this axle right here, and the only bracing here is done via this portion right here, which is my bearing clamp here for the steering column. It's not as smooth as something that's on ball bearings, but it's just a basic setup here. I may put I think I am going to do that. Do some Delrin washers here, so that this can ride on the washer, on the Delrin washer. Nylon would also work, but Delrin is much better from a Delrin's used for because it's got self-lubricating properties. It's used for bearings and things of that nature, gears. So I am going to do. I do have enough material, Delrin, that's wide enough that I can do some really nice washers for this right here, and so that'll ride better on that. So I am going to do that. This doesn't require a washer here because this is actually sitting on a threaded insert there. As I pointed in my other videos, you can go check out those videos. Video number 4A, 4B, how I did this right here. But I am going to put today. I should be getting some hardware that I'm waiting for these links, proper size links. These are a little too long by an inch, so I'm waiting for the 10-inch ones. I'm waiting for the hardware, the self-threading hex screws, so that I can lock these things in place. I'd like at least this one in place because I don't want this to swivel as I'm maneuvering the control here. So that'll be done. I am waiting also for some maker pipe connectors that I ordered, these 180-degree connectors like this one here, so that I can replace these, so that I can do my front bumper. My front bumper sitting right there with the two tubes. Very similar setup as I did in the back here. This tube right here, I did this last night to as a support for the rear section right there. I'm actually adding 2 additional clamps here and the tube. So in my cost estimate, we would have to add another for another maybe $10 in hardware to do those 2 connectors. So those connectors are about $5 a piece, I think, or $4, I think. So it's another $8-10, for the connectors, and then the tubing, which if we take into account that this gets built from a 3 10-foot sections, and you have a 5-foot section left over, this can easily be cut from that section there, and you still have some more tubing left over, to do some additional bracing or whatever. So the other type of bracing that I was going to that I'm considering is I already took my original laterals that were here, that were bent, that I unbent, and then they became a little weird in shape, and that's why I decided to replace those with these just straight ones, new pipe. But I cut those already, and this is the leftover pieces. I mean, I could use this right here as a to further brace this section right here. If I angle it just slightly on the side here, it'll give me a little more. It'll widen up the seating area, at least on the sides, so that I can sit comfortably there. Otherwise, it gets too narrow if I just go with a straight bar. If I were to just put a bar right here from that point to that point, this gets too narrow on the top. It's okay at the bottom, but when you start putting fences, or supports like that, it's just too narrow for comfort, at least for an average size person. I consider myself average, 5'11", so I'm not that skinny, but I'm not that wide either. So anyway, it's a very nice, the way it turned out. I mean, I don't mean to give myself kudos for this project right here, but it did come out. I mean, it's I'm bringing quite a bit of experience now that I have built a few of these things already. So I'm bringing every one that I do is a refined version of the previous one, in a sense, not only in mechanical complexity, but also in cost and materials. I'm not employing as much material as I did with my first, racing go-kart. Of course, the racing go-kart is a lot more elaborate, more bends, more tubing, in a sense. But I wanted to make this, like I explained in my other video, I wanted to make this very, very, very easy for anyone that would be considering doing something like this, to do it with maker pipe connectors and EMT tubing. I am sort of promoting maker pipe connectors because that's what I'm using here. I mean, there's no other way to say, I'm using connectors. They are maker pipe connectors, except for those shiny ones. They're actually Amazon connectors, but they don't I plan on replacing these because they don't quite grab the tubing like these guys here. These are the pivoting connectors. They're about $8 a piece. These you can get for 10 for $23. So they're about $2.50 a piece. $2.50 versus $7.50 or $8. It's quite a difference. And so I'm having to use these shims here, which is nothing more than heat shrink tubing that I use on my other go-kart. That yellow go-kart is done with this tubing here also from Maker Pipe Connectors. This tubing, this PVC sleeve. So I'm using that, and even with that, it's not tight enough. It's not enough to give this. So I would have to shim this with some kind of a metal, something a little bit thicker, or go twice with two times the sleeve material here. This heat shrink tubing. I don't like to piece things. In fact, this is even a little distracting for me, even though it looks kind of neat, kind of cool with the color there. But I'd rather just go with one connector like this. So I'm waiting for that order for those connectors, and I'll be replacing these for that. In here, it's working good because these connectors, like I was saying in my other video, they're wider than the standard Maker Pipe connectors, which is designed strictly for 3/4 inch EMT tubing, electrical metal tubing. I think is what EMT stands for. And so in here, it's working okay as a pivoting, as a bearing, kind of a hard bearing, because this is riding on metal and not so much on a ball bearing. So, and that's the reason for why I was saying I need to add some kind of a shoulder washer here, so that this rides on the Delrin piece and not so much on the metal. It's a lot smoother that way. So yeah, so those connectors will probably be replaced. As far as the flexibility of this does have a little bit of flex. With I'm about 100 and I don't know 100 and last time I weighed myself, I think I was 189 pounds. I may have gained a little weight just over this past year. Just not being not eating just salads. I've been eating quite nice. I feel good. That's why I'm able to do these things. But I have gained a little more weight, so I would say about 190 pounds. So I think 200 pounds this will support just fine. Without it bending, and I don't mean bending to the point where it's bent and you can't bend it back. I mean, it does have a little bit of flex, which is good because it's able to take some of the bumps. Although these wheels being pneumatic, at least the front ones, and I think the rear ones, the ones that I'm going to use they are pneumatic from another hoverboard that comes with pneumatic wheels. So those will take some of the bumps a little bit better than just those hard wheels that come typically with those hoverboard units. So that and with a little flexibility here, it is going to that's basically my suspension. I don't want to introduce shock absorbers, any of that stuff, because it's not designed as an off-road something that I'm going to be running it in the desert, over grassy surfaces. This is more for asphalt and hard surfaces. It's an on-road type of go-kart, even though it looks like off-road. Those types of wheels here. So yeah, if I need to reinforce this a little bit better, like I was saying, I am going to consider making. I do have some more EMT tubing. Just customizing and bending one that comes out this way, so I can use just a regular connector. So it comes out like that from that point out. Put another one right here that comes out this way and kind of blends in with this pipe right here. So I would have a brace from this point right here, an effective brace, if you will, to support this, to prevent this from flexing too much. If I feel that it's flexing beyond what I think would be, some moderate flexing. So yeah, so this is where I'm at right now. I thought I'd capture another video. I know it's not much from my previous videos. I finished this part, which is this was I had to kind of force myself. The last night actually I did this. I did the. I completed the welding yesterday, and at nighttime I decided to come out. I was going to watch a movie and just to relax, but I said, I better just drill these. So today I can have the finished piece, and I'm glad I did that. Forced myself, to do that. Went to my shop, drilled the holes and tapped them. The tapping is done by hand. It's not done by any machine, so I had to individually tap each one. Just take my time in order not to break the tap, because those taps, you can, if you put too much force on, lateral force, they tend to break. Even though this is about quarter-inch tap, 10 millimeter. 6 millimeters approximates about a quarter-inch size, but this is, I believe these are 10. Yeah, these are more like 3/8. So it's it's pretty beefy stuff. What they use to support these motor wheels on the hoverboards. So that's done, and I'm glad I did that. So that was the only, like I said, the only hard part. It's just time consuming, having to wait. I had to tap it slowly. Do it a couple turns, back out, clean it, lubricate it, do it again, and so it took me a good. I would say it took me probably a good hour, to complete this. But it's already done, and the benefit of not procrastinating and jumping right into it and doing things is that the result is very satisfying. So I'm very eager to do this as soon as I complete this video. But this is where I'm at this point. Mario, once again, stay tuned for the continuation of this project.